While we would all love it if every day of camping was filled with beautiful weather that enabled us to stay outside until late in the evening, the reality is that there are days or nights when the weather is not the best, or you just want to relax inside and watch TV or a movie after a day of adventure. In this episode, we'll look at 6 ways to utilize your RV's TV to view entertainment while on the road. Hey everybody, this is John Marucci. Thanks for visiting the On the Road YouTube channel. You know, this channel is all about helping you get the most out of your RV travel experience. Before we get going, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when new videos are published. If you want to dive deeper, we put more content and photos on Instagram and Twitter at John Marucci. So let's go ahead and jump in. And what we're going to do is we're going to cover 6 ways to view entertainment in your RV utilizing your RV's TV. Now, some of these are going to require an HDMI port on your TV. So number 1 is over the air. So how does this happen? Basically using your RV's antenna connected to your TV. It's pretty simple. Usually you'll have to scan for channels when you come to a new campsite. And some newer RVs have omnidirectional antennas, while older ones may require that you actually point the directional antenna toward the best signal. So the pluses are, number 1, it's free, of course. You don't need any LTE or bandwidth, and you don't need Wi-Fi to connect. You just point your antenna in the right direction and you connect by scanning for channels. The big minus here can be reception, depending on where you're located. It can be weak or even non-existent. And of course, since it's over-the-air TV, you're going to have to deal with commercials, which no one really likes. So here's a quick tip about it. Find out where you are in relationship to the nearest major viewing area. Now what I do is I use my iPhone and a compass app on my iPhone to understand which way I'm parked. In my AirPod 179, for example, I actually point the directional TV antenna to where the viewing area should be. So here's an example. If you're camping, for example, in Colt Creek State Park, which is in Central Florida, you're going to be northeast of Tampa and directly west of Orlando. So you need to know where you are when you're sitting in your RV, what direction's what, and then point your antenna corresponding to the major viewing area so you can pick up those channels. So the second thing we're going to look at is physical media. So how you do that is with your entertainment system or an add-on DVD player. And one thing to note is you can use this with an HDMI port on the front of your Furrion Entertainment Center on later model AirPods that no longer have DVD players. Now it's very easy to do. One of the main pluses, it's one-time cost for your media. So if you have DVD libraries like I do with TV series or movies, you've already paid for those. You don't have to pay again or rent movies. You can bring them with you. Obviously your image quality is going to be good because you have your DVDs with you. And of course you're not using LTE bandwidth or Wi-Fi. One of the main minuses is it's going to take storage space. You actually have to lug those DVDs with you. And you also need to plan in advance what movies you're going to bring when you go on your travel. So it takes a little planning to figure that out, what you're actually going to take with you. And the other minus is that DVD players are becoming less common on newer units. The models I have actually have DVD players, but some of them don't, so you need to watch out for that. So here's a tip. Consider carrying a case or DVD sleeves to transport and store your DVDs to save space. Instead of bringing with you an entire TV series in their original boxes, take those discs out and put them in sleeves or whatnot and carry with you. Okay, the third thing we're going to look at as far as connectivity is satellite. Now satellites are really helpful. You can bring a dish with you. If you bring a satellite dish with you, you're going to need COAX, and it connects to your TV through HDMI, usually through your RV. The pluses, and this is a really great one, is it means you can have availability to watch TV almost anywhere. So you can be in the middle of the desert or some remote location and still point that satellite to the right place in the sky and get a signal. It allows you to view channels you actually watch at home, so you can have the same actual coverage. If you only need coverage while you're RVing, for example, Dish offers a pay-as-you-go plan, and if you use satellite TV like Dish, they actually offer an additional add-on package if you already have Dish at home. So it makes it pretty easy just to add on that mobile package, and then you can view your Dish network on the road. So some of the main minuses are the hardware packages, and they can get pretty expensive. So actually buying a physical dish to take with you is another item you have to transport and set up, and they can be pretty expensive. So here's a tip. Research all your options before settling on one solution. and consider where you plan to camp. And what I mean by that is, are you going to camp primarily like in desert locations where you can't pick up anything through the TV antenna? So if you're not going to camp in those places that are far out there, maybe you don't need satellite at all. So the fourth method we're going to look at is streaming, and that's streaming with Wi-Fi or cellular. So how do you do this? You just connect hardware to the TV or entertainment center via the HDMI port. Now, pluses here, you have a lot of options. So hardware, what by that I mean is like an Apple TV or a Roku or an Amazon Fire Stick or Google Chromecast. You have a lot of options you can plug right into your HDMI cable and just use your LTE connection through your cellular network or Wi-Fi locally at the campsite, and you should be able to hook up fine and use those services. And you have services like Amazon Prime or Netflix or Apple TV Plus or Hulu or Sling. All these services you can then use through those hardware means plugged directly into your TV. So there's very minimal space requirements. So all you need is that little piece of hardware to plug in your TV, and you don't need to lug around a bunch of DVDs with you as long as you have good connectivity. The minuses here obviously are the connectivity issues. So not everywhere you go is going to have good signal. It may actually be very weak and kind of leave you in the lurch and not be able to stream. And of course, bandwidth really costs. If you don't have Wi-Fi in your local campground, you're relying on your LTE bandwidth, you can burn through that really quickly and it becomes very expensive. So here's a tip. Consider a Wi-Fi or cell signal booster, something like a WeBoost, and look into various LTE plans to best accommodate your needs. If you plan on doing a lot of streaming, you may want to upscale your LTE service and plan. So the fifth thing we're going to look at is connecting a smartphone to an HDMI port. So this is very simple to do if you have the right cords. Now I use an Apple Lightning to digital AV adapter to connect my iPhone or iPad to an HDMI cable and connect it to the TV for entertainment through the HDMI port. Now this solution was suggested by one of our regular commenters, and thanks again to Mike F for this. This has great pluses. Basically, you don't need LTE or Wi-Fi bandwidth to connect to view anything. Basically, you just connect directly from your phone through this cable into the TV through the HDMI port. So you can download significant amounts of media for later viewing. One of the minuses here is that it takes space up on your device. If you don't have a lot of space on your iPhone or iPad, you're going to need to really curtail the number of movies or videos you download to your device for later viewing. You also need the connector, which sometimes can be kind of expensive, but it really works well as far as being able to do this method. And you need to plan in advance to download movies and shows while you're on Wi-Fi. And some services limit the total number of downloads at a given time. So the tip here is be careful using non-proprietary cords when employing this option. We've actually found that the more expensive Apple cord work the best in terms of using this method. So the sixth method is cable TV. How do you do this? You just use cable connection to the RV where the cable input is. The pluses here is it usually is included in the campsite price if it's available. It's easy to set up. Basically, you just connect the coax cable to the campsite's cable and to your unit, and you can get it up in minutes. Usually it's only available in private campgrounds. We haven't found it in any state parks, national parks, or any other place. It's really only private campgrounds that have this option, including Disney's Fort Wilderness. There's often limited viewing options as well, and of course you're going to be dealing with commercials once you have cable. So a tip here is make sure you travel with a significantly long and even a shorter separate coax cable to accommodate various situations. So there are the 6 solid methods for enjoying entertainment while out on the road. We'll have more detail in the description on some of the specific items mentioned. Hopefully this will help you get more out of your entertainment when traveling. Once again, a big thanks to Mike F for the great idea on the iOS device connection to the TV's HDMI. It's been great using this for the past year. If you have other methods for accessing entertainment through your TV while on the road, please make sure to add a comment below. If you like this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it. Again, this is John Marucci. Thanks for watching, and so long for now.